Okay, so we've got Goku, obviously, Vegeta, the Boos, we gotta have the Majin, dude, Super Saiyan 4, God of Destruction, Toppo on top, oh my goodness. All the Vegeta forms have just come to mind, are you kidding
Which one?
me?
Both
We
of
got the
them. Just
movie
do all the
characters,
Gogeta. Why not? Just do
we
all
got
the Gogetas, all the Gogetas.
Yo, what if we just put the Pilaf machine? Just put the... Okay, real quick, how many characters do you think are in the new Tenkaichi game? Now, before you answer, keep this in mind. The first Budokai Tenkaichi had a total of 64 characters. The second one had 136, and finally the third had 161. This is counting all the forms and transformations, by the way, everything included. Now, this new Budokai isn't exactly a sequel. The reason why Budokai Tenkaichi 3 was able to have more than 150 characters is because it already started with a pretty big roster. Tenkaichi 3 itself only made 25 new characters, which isn't that much given the type of game this is. The second game, though, it made a whole 72 characters. Now, that's impressive. And also keep in mind that they have already done this before. They have rebooted or made an upgraded version of Tenkaichi, which was called Raging Blast. Updated the graphics, adjusted the battle system, basically made a new Budokai Tenkaichi just like they're doing now. And how many characters did we get? 73. So the most characters they have ever done from scratch was 73, which is a huge number and really impressive. But back to my question, how many characters do you think they are putting in the new Budokai Tenkaichi? And now that you know all of this info, I'm sure you'll give me a reasonable over 200. This video is brought to you by Raycon. Whether you're looking for a pair of everyday earbuds, low latency gaming headphones, or a speaker with a battery that will last you all night at your next party, Raycon's got you covered. Ever since I got my Raycons, I've left wired earbuds behind and I've never looked back. If you want to do the same, the everyday earbuds are perfect because they start at half the price of other premium audio brands. And Raycon still gives you 15% off anything you purchase if you use my link below, buyraycon.com/Globku. But it's not just about the price, it's about the comfort. The custom gel tips offer the perfect, most comfortable in-ear fit you've ever felt in your life. It's so comfortable, in fact, that I wear them to sleep every night. I've said this multiple times on the channel before because it's true. And I did worry about battery life when I switched from wired to wireless, but the Raycons come with 8 hours of playtime, plus you can store them in this little case, which is so easy to carry with you, and this holds up to another 32 hours of battery life. But more importantly, they sound great. But sound is something you have to experience for yourself, and that's why Raycon wants you to feel safe about your purchase. And they do that by offering you buy now, pay later options, and every single purchase comes with an easy and free return guarantee. So if you're ready to buy something small with a big impact, go to buyraycon.com/Globku. Everything you purchase is 15% off. The link is down below. And thank you, Raycon, for sponsoring this video. I've seen so many people saying that if the roster isn't at least 200 characters big, then there's no point. Well, back it up, boys. They said there's no point. Might as well stop development now. Let's say the roster is gonna be about 80 characters. 80 characters would mean that that's the biggest roster they have ever made from scratch. And I think that's already a very optimistic prediction because making a character that looks like this is a lot harder than making a character that looks like this. Games have gotten more detailed. Developing a single one of these characters is gonna take way longer for a new game than it took back in the early 2000s. So if we get 80 characters in the new Tenkaichi,
You're gonna be happy.
because that's impressive as hell. At the same time, this is an impossible roster with 80 characters. It's not enough. I know, it's crazy, but let's build it together and you'll see what I mean. How do we start building? It's simple. I've said it before, but I think this game will have a Dragon Ball Super focus. The Dragon Ball Super anime is confirmed to return in 2023, and since I don't think this game is coming out anytime soon, by the time it comes out, we will have some new arcs to cover. So we're gonna go through the entirety of Dragon Ball Super and add all the characters that make sense. By the way, minor spoilers for Dragon Ball Super, but if you're on the internet, you've already heard all of this stuff anyway. I'm gonna talk about a new transformation for Vegeta and Frieza. I'm also gonna talk about some of the upcoming villains, but I won't spoil any of the battle outcomes or anything that happens during those arcs. Okay, so we start the roster with Goku, obviously. We're gonna call this version of Goku, Goku Super, and he's gonna have these transformations. So this Goku, the single entry into the character select screen, is already 6 characters. And I know it's missing some transformations.
Chill.
We'll get there. There's no Dragon Ball without Vegeta. He would have all of these transformations too, same number as Goku. This Vegeta is also 6 characters. And notice that we have Ultra Instinct Goku and Ultra Ego Vegeta, which is a very strong duo for promotion, maybe even the cover of the game. The fusions, Vegito and Gogeta, will also make it naturally. We're gonna see Vegito in the Goku Black arc, and he's 3 characters already, and Gogeta also shows up in the Broly arc, and he's 3 characters as well. For the rest of the cast, we would need Future Trunks, which would have 3 transformations, so that's another 4 characters right there. Gohan with 3 transformations too, including the new Beast mode from the movie, and then Piccolo, which would have 2 transformations from the Dragon Ball Super movie, so he's 3 characters in total. And then we add the rest of the Tournament of Power roster before we even talk about villains. So we got Krillin, we got Tien, Android 17, Android 18, and Master Roshi. But Master Roshi will probably have a transformation just like he did back in Budokai Tenkaichi 3. And out of all the Z Warriors, I feel like we're missing Yamcha. I could actually see them skipping Yamcha for the first time in a very long time in a Dragon Ball Z game because he hasn't done anything in Super. But at this point, it does feel like the roster isn't complete without him. So congratulations, Yamcha. You barely made it. We are currently at 36 characters, by the way, and we've barely started. Let's go through Dragon Ball Super real quick. From the first arc, we add Beerus and Whis. Then we have Frieza. This Super Frieza only has the base version, Golden, and since we're going all the way through the Granola arc, is also gonna have Black. Yep, Black Frieza is a thing. We're not gonna elaborate any further. Speaking of Black, we're also adding Goku Black with the Rose transformation and Zamasu fused, and of course we already have Vegito and Trunks there, no need to add them again. From Goku Black, we go into the Universe 6, where we have the Saiyans, Kale, Caulifla, and Kaba. We might as well add Kefla right away. She'll show up later in the Tournament of Power, but to keep this somewhat organized, let's add Kefla right now. She's also got a transformation going from base to legendary. And then we add Frost and Hit to close out Universe 6. And then we have the Tournament of Power, where the main villains would probably be Dispo, Topo, and Jiren. We could actually add a lot more, but you'll soon see that we're gonna need to cut some characters. Moving on to the Broly movie, we're adding Broly for sure with 3 transformations. And the next arc is Moro, who has some transformations, but we might want to censor these. Just take my word for it, he's gonna be 4 characters. And finally, the Granola arc, which would at least add Granola and Gas. And Gas will be 4 characters too. Again, we're gonna censor the transformations as well to prevent spoilers. Only 1 arc to go, the Dragon Ball Super Superhero, the star of which is Gohan, but we already have him in Beast mode, as well as Orange Piccolo. Those 2 are already there, but we don't have the supporting cast, so let's go ahead and add Teen Goten and Teen Trunks, both of which can go Super Saiyan, and they can fuse into another character called Gotenks. Now, this would be the first time we would see Teen Gotenks because they didn't pull off the fusion in the movie. That said, Gotenks is 3 characters, and we know them well: Base, Super Saiyan, and Super Saiyan 3. We're also gonna add Gamma 1 and Gamma 2, and of course, Cell Max, bringing the total roster count to 80. I don't know how we made it. Right at the cap. I said 80 characters is super optimistic. We cannot go over 80. We made it. Or did we? You see, something has stuck with me ever since I saw the Budokai Tenkaichi 4 trailer. We see Goku Blue powering up in Namek. And that looks natural. I mean, of course a Dragon Ball game is gonna have a Namek stage. We've never gone to Namek in Dragon Ball Super, have we? Which means the game will most likely have some Dragon Ball Z content. I mean, naturally. It's Tenkaichi. It's gonna have all the characters. It's gonna have Dragon Ball Z content because it's the most popular Dragon Ball. It's always been the case. So I think at the very least, Tenkaichi will have the bare minimum to give you a story recap of Dragon Ball Z with only the main villains. But first we need a protagonist, and that is Goku. So let's add another Goku to the roster. We'll call him Goku Z, and he is 5 characters because he's got a ton of transformations too. We also add Frieza Z, which starts in the first form and goes all the way to final form 100%, so that's 5 characters right there. The Cell Saga is gonna require Cell, who is also 4 characters, just like Tenkaichi 3, and I do think he would be a separate character slot from Cell Max. I don't think he would start as Imperfect Cell and work your way up to Cell Max. No, it's a separate character. So we can call this guy Cell Z if you want to. And we can't have the Cell Saga without another Gohan. This is Teen Gohan with a Super Saiyan and a Super Saiyan 2 transformations. And then the Buu Saga has Goten and Trunks, who can both go Super Saiyan, and then they can fuse into Gotenks, who can go Super Saiyan and Super Saiyan 3. Not to mention we gotta add the Boos themselves. So we got Majin Buu, then we got Super Buu as a separate character with 2 transformations, and then Kid Buu, which would be another separate character. And just like that, our roster has 109 characters. We are way past the cap. We're gonna have to do some cuts, and oh boy, you are not gonna like these cuts. And bear in mind, before we start cutting, we're already missing some pretty big names like, I don't know, Bardock, any of the movie characters like Cooler or Z Broly, even big canon names like Android 16. We have so many Gokus and no one to dunk them. Okay, so out of the Z characters, I can see Goten and Trunks removed. Sorry, boys. I think it's cool that in Tenkaichi you usually start as one of these characters and then work your way up to a fusion. That was one of my favorite things to do back in the day. But we need to cut characters, and you guys are mostly here for Gotenks. So Gotenks stays, but you kids are out. That's 4 characters gone. I don't think I can cut anyone else from Z, to be honest. If you want to tell a story recap, this is the bare minimum you need. And that's already no Raditz, no Nappa, no Ginyu Force. Yeah, it is super abridged. From Dragon Ball Super, though, this is gonna be hard, but we have to get rid of the Universe 6 Saiyans. Sorry, guys. Frost too. Frost is out of there as well. We're only staying with Kefla and Hit from Universe 6. That's it. Those are the mandatory ones. The others are not, unfortunately. And from the Tournament of Power, they could probably get away with just Jiren. So we are also cutting Dispo and Topo. And last but not least, we are probably cutting Superhero.
All of it.
So goodbye Gammas, goodbye Cellmax, goodbye Goten, Trunks, and Gotenks. All of them gone, including Beast Mode Gohan, so he's 1 less character, and 2 Piccolo transformations are also gone, so he's 2 less characters. And the reason for this is, if the anime does not reach Superhero, and it remains just a movie for now, they can totally get away with making Superhero a DLC pack. Imagine a Superhero pack with all of these characters that we just removed. In fact, a lot of the characters we removed could be added later as DLC. The Pride Troopers pack would bring back Dispo and Topo as DLC, including Topo with a God of Destruction transformation. The Universe 6 Warriors pack would bring back the Saiyans and Frost. We haven't even talked about Dragon Ball GT or the original Dragon Ball, all of which have a ton of DLC potential right there. I mean, these cuts were really hard, but we finally made it. We hit a total of 83 characters. We are still not done. Oh no, who do we cut now? Yamcha? Whis? I can't do it. This is the bare minimum, and it's still a bigger number than my most optimistic guess. I think that whatever happens with the new Tenkaichi, people are gonna be mad that their favorite character's not here. Or at least they're gonna be mad that they're not in the base game and they're saving them for DLC.
Because they're so greedy.
When actually, this is an impossible task. I do think this game is being built with DLC in mind, and at some point, everyone will be playable. And that's exciting. This could be the most complete Dragon Ball game ever with an incredible potential for future DLC. But the launch roster? I think we're gonna see a lot of angry people when the final roster finally gets announced. But what do you think of this roster? Would you be happy with something like this, or would this still not be enough? Let me know in the comments. And for more Tenkaichi 4, check out this video on how the announcement went compared to Naruto Storm Connections. Bye!